theorizing on his channel about how human history would have been different if humanity existed in Minecraft. He ran this social experiment to test these theories in 2021. He started by making a public server where people who died would be temporarily banned to mimic the risk of death that real life posed. Consequently, the server was thrown into a series of endless murders as players found it satisfying to be able to temp ban people by killing them. Magic Gum tried to remedy this by adding a reputation system, which only worsened the issue as players tried to speedrun to the worst reputation. In an attempt to steer his experiment in the direction he wanted, he created a formal event that would run for specific times during a set number of days, along with set rules to attempt to guide the players into cooperating with each other. In this first experiment, he put 100 players into different 100 by 100 block boxes with different biomes and resources, along with sending RDMers to their own box called Australia to form a prisoner colony. The goal of the experiment was to see how different groups reacted to the available resources and how that changed the way they organized themselves. Magic Gum's rules had to be very strict and very guided to get players to cooperate, the most blatant of these rules being literally telling them, form a civilization to advance to the next level. The next level being trading and interacting with other civilizations. Similar rules, or at least expectations, had to be implemented in most following experiments done by Magic Gum-ish and other large creators. I'd like to propose that the reason players had to be forced to cooperate by weeding out antisocial players and imposing rules and expectations was because of the individualistic nature of Minecraft's production loop, and that if this individualistic production loop was replaced by a social production loop, players wouldn't need to be coerced into cooperation by outside rules, and would lead to much more interesting and divergent experiments. First, let's analyze why Magic Gum had to resort to outside rules and expectations to get players to cooperate, whereas these external rules were not needed in real-life social development. The simple answer is that in Minecraft, every player is able to meet their individual material requirements fairly easily. This is something to be expected, considering the game would be very boring if you couldn't play without 20 other people. Cooperation is only useful in reducing the time needed to produce the materials to satisfy those requirements. Take, for example, food. Ignoring the fact that lack of food won't kill you outside of hard mode, food is exceptionally easy to get by either making a small farm or by simply hunting some of the many passive mobs that spawn in abundance, mobs which will not defend themselves. Food security for each individual player can be reached by each individual player working on their own. This means the only reason players would work together to provide food security is if they collectively just wanted to, or if there was an external expectation or rule to do so. Next, let's move on to housing. Housing is something that is required to protect players from hostile mobs. Basic housing can be built with any block and can be constructed within the first 30 seconds of spawning. The only reason players would work together to provide housing is if they wanted to build something more, well, pleasing to the eye at a faster rate than working alone. Or if they just all wanted to, take you and your friends teaming up to build a town, for example, or if there was an external expectation or rule to do so. This goes on with nearly everything you would need or want to do in Minecraft. I call this the individualist production loop, referring to how each individual player can gather all of the resources and craft, build, or grow everything necessary to meet their material needs and complete their wants or goals. The option to work together is there, but it's not required. Because of this, players who want to go around murdering everyone can do so. These aspiring murderers can work by themselves to provide themselves housing, food, weapons, armor, etc. Hence the need to require cooperation and to weed out those who choose to go it on their own. From this analysis, the solution to creating a naturally developing Minecraft society is clear. Make it extremely hard or impossible for each individual player to produce their material needs by themselves. If they cannot by themselves provide food security for themselves, or housing for themselves, or weapons or armor for themselves, then these conditions, their material conditions, make it impossible for players to go off on their own and become antisocial axe-wielding maniacs. And moreover, it makes it extremely important for players to cooperate to meet their material needs, leading to the formation of social relations of production in the process. I call this the social production loop in Minecraft, where players need to work together in a coordinated way to gather the resources and craft, build, or grow their material requirements. This is why Minecraft civilizations fail to create their own unique societies, and typically build off of preconceived notions that players bring from real life, such as we need to build a democracy, or empire, or kingdom, or dictatorship, instead of a social organization evolving from their existing conditions. In real life, it's extremely difficult to provide for yourself all of your material needs by yourself, and therefore why humans necessarily form social relations of production to be able to produce in sufficient quantities the material requirements of life. This is why social anxiety is rooted in our DNA, because our ancestors who were scared of being shunned or exiled by their tribe would be biologically incentivized to cooperate and to form these relations to avoid being left to fend for themselves. Of course, we don't need to simulate anxiety in Minecraft. We just need to provide the conditions which gave rise to it. Here are some general recommendations. 1. Increase the required usage of food or decrease the yield of food sources. 2. Increase the cost of housing or increase the drawbacks of lack of housing. 3. Increase the cost of tools, weapons, and armor. 4. Increase the material requirements for players, such as adding thirst, tiredness, etc. 5. Introduce a player reproduction system where 2 players on the server with enough food could create a new player slot to allow previously dead or new players into the server. In following these general recommendations, I would advise not to simply increase how much food players need or decrease yields directly in loot drops and harvesting, as it can be annoying to players who are accustomed to needing a certain amount of food and yielding a certain amount from drops and harvests. I would recommend a more creative approach, such as progressive health drop as you get hungrier, or livestock needing a constant supply of food to stay alive and not just to reproduce. The same goes for all other modifications. Don't just increase how much iron goes into an iron pickaxe, for example. Make it actually harder to make a pickaxe by requiring ore to be maybe smelted and then immediately forged using special expensive utility blocks, something like that. In Magic Gum's most recent video, he addressed some of these points. He actually introduced a thirst system, he introduced natural disasters, and environmental change. Unfortunately, the only consequential change in material requirements was during the Ice Age, when crops and livestock froze to death, making food hard to come by. Outside rules and expectations were especially strong during the late stages when special resources were introduced to incentivize trade and expansion. Because of the hesitancy in curtailing the individualist production loop, groups of players still had to be externally steered and directed into organizing into civilizations and expanding to other civilizations similar to the first experiment. I propose that a social production loop implemented in a civilization experiment in Minecraft through the use of mods would produce a much more complex, spontaneous, and interesting society with much more complex, spontaneous, and interesting politics, economics, and therefore storytelling. Without the guardrails and guidelines made by staff members and event organizers steering the development of civilizations, the viewer will feel that anything can happen, and that anything that does happen can be analyzed with much greater depth than in current experiments. For a simple example of how it can be more interesting for the viewer, compare games with an in-game economy that are set up by developers versus a game such as EVE Online that has an economy completely run by players and regulated by natural laws and is so interesting and has so much depth that multiple videos totaling tens of millions of views are being made to analyze it. Just imagine the ripple effects of even one large-scale experiment using a social production loop could generate, especially if participants record and upload their own POV to tell their own story. In terms of how the experiment should be structured, I recommend the event style that Magic Gum pioneered instead of a full-time server, which would require a claim system to prevent griefing and theft when players are offline. Such systems could prevent emergent scenarios, such as in-game property laws, and could ruin both the players and the viewer's immersion. Having a set period of time, most likely 2 to 3 hours, a few days a week, or even 1 day a week, can let players rest easy after sessions, knowing that everything will be as they left it. This downtime in between sessions can also give space to role-playing elements, as players can plan and make decisions outside of the game. The combination of the social production loop and the event structure can give rise to truly unique forms of social organization. The different ways that groups of players organize and coordinate their production could be limitless. Another interesting question I want to have answered is, assuming that we start with many groups of players separated by distance, all developing their own societies, how will those societies develop over time? Will one form of social organization conquer the rest? What power structures will arise, if any? With a renewed emphasis on meeting material needs, will players be as focused on abstract goals as they were in past experiments? We can only really speculate until such an experiment is done, but hey, if this video gets a decent amount of support, I may just get together with some modders myself. If you'd be interested in a Minecraft civilization experiment with a social production loop, just let me know by giving this video a like and putting some feedback down in the comments section. See you in the next video.
Destroy all the monsters you control. Oh, and Liberator Ito coming out of nowhere, kind of like John Cena from the top rope. Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to go over this 4K broken hand trap that is being really slept on. Honestly, this card is being slept on, and after this video, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, let me tell you why. Liberator Ito, this guy right here, can't be normal summoned or set. Okay, you're going to think this is a bad thing, but it's going to be a good thing because we're going to be able to search this. And you'll be like, what? How can we do that? Must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by paying half your life points. Now that sounds crazy, and it is in a good way, because it could come from your graveyard, meaning we could discard this thing however we want, as like just like discarding it with Dia Bellstar or Super Poly or even as Forbidden Droplet, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, this thing comes out.
Wait, why am I going first?
Life points though, and at first I thought that was too high a cost. I was like, oh my god, that's absolutely awful. But really, it's not. Anyways, while your opponent though has a monster in their field or graveyard with an effect that activates in the hand or monster zone in response to a card effect or activation. Well, what does that mean? Basically, I got this from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. If your opponent has any of these cards that have like any of these descriptions, like a quick effect that says when your opponent went, basically all you have to do is if your opponent did a hand trap, this guy could come out. Honestly, if your opponent pretty much has anything on the board, if your opponent just looks at you the wrong way, this guy could probably come out of your hand or graveyard. There's more cards to make this guy come out than I thought. So really, the real cost is going to be half your life points if your opponent pretty much did anything with the monster. You can only special summon this guy once per turn this way, and this card special summon cannot be negated. So there's no solemn striking this guy, solemn judgment, or any of the cards that's like, aha, you special summoned, now you get banished or something weird like that, or destroyed. Nope, can't be negated when this card comes up. And this face-up card cannot be used as material for Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link, which sounds bad on paper, because like, oh man, I would love to use this, but we could tribute it still, use it as ritual material, and it actually protects you from Super Poly. And also during your turn, it is unaffected by monster effects activated on your opponent's field. So that's cool. It's got a little protection on your turn, so you can actually kind of go for game in a lot of situations. Very interesting. On your opponent's turn, not really much of protection there. But so what really makes this a good card? Well, at first I thought it was just a meme, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at this. Hey, yeah, Peter Griffin, pay half your life points to summon. You know, the Dynamorphia players were eating good, right? So maybe just good in Dynamorphia. And like I said, the ritual guys were saying, you know, we don't have such weakness because, you know, it can't be used by this. But the rituals were like, all right, we could use it still, right? And use it as eight pieces right there of level tribute. But you know what? It's people are coming together and really starting to find some interesting things. Look at this guy, Jay Kennings here. Snake Rain target, and it can summon from the grave. So maybe Agdotic. Dogmatica can abuse this to copy its attack. You can go full Tenpai doing this. It's kind of decent and Infernoid as a one-of. If you mill it, you get to add another big body to OTK, and you contribute it for an opponent's effect, for Infernoid effects on an opponent's turn. Here's the searchable part. I didn't know this actually, and I love how people are really smart. Look at what Psycho Space Car says. Space Car, oh my gosh. It's a Chaos Space target too, being a level 8 that can't be normal summoned or set. It's a level 8 dark, and it can't be normal summoned or set. So we can search this with Chaos Space. So very interesting there. And this guy says, hey, and Mitsuragi Drytron is pretty good. Mitsurugi, I always say that wrong. I'm so bad with names. But this guy looks like he's bad with spelling too, so it evens out. He says Jazz, exactly 8, I think he means has exactly 8 levels for either the Mitsurugi ritual, and you can mill it with the ritual spell, so it doesn't conflict with the Drystron restrictions. So that's kind of cool. So people all around are finding these unique uses for it. So this card is out right now in Master Duel. The bad thing is, oh my gosh, they made it cost you R. And at first I thought that was devastating, but if you let me show you some replays, you might be hooked onto this thing a little bit like I did. And also to note, in the TCG, this thing is only going for 61 cents. And at 61 cents, this is a bigger bargain for you history buffs than the Louisiana Purchase, baby. You get yourself a playset of these. That means 3 copies for just $2, just under $2. for people who don't know what the Louisiana purchase is. I guess I'll say it's a bigger bargain than Black Friday or Amazon Prime Day, but whatever. It's the Louisiana purchase. You really should know your history, but what you really should know more than history is that you gotta like and subscribe to this channel if you like this kind of stuff, because I got something to show you real quick, and that's the replays of this thing and how insane this is. Also, if you want to catch me out, I'm now on Twitch Mondays and Wednesdays and streaming on Twitch and YouTube from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, so come see me, come check it out. Here, Duelist A is going first, and oh my gosh, this guy's got all the Malice cards. Malice is so malicious because look at this guy's gonna put a card down. This deck is so devastating to play against because it's basically can combo forever. There's no real stopping it once it gets going. If it's got the right hand, and by the way, the deck is so consistent, you almost gotta just let it go through. It's actually killing cards like Droll because it can play through Droll. And look at this, even using the Bestials to banish cards to get more advantage. Really, really good use. It's so consistent. Here we go. Red Ransom's gonna add a Malice card. Normally you add Malice in the mirror here, but now he just gets a free card to add. Also, the Link Decoder is going to just come right back for free. The Cyber's engine is just all gas. Just remember that. If you're ever against Malice, this deck is just continuous gas, gas, gas. Like that song, gas, 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 I'm gonna step on the gas. So, very interesting here. What else is interesting to know is that our Duelist B is not doing anything. He's just standing there menacingly, watching the Malice player combo off to no avail. So, that's also pretty cool. I'm also very curious and scared when you see a person. By the way, it's not running a 40 card deck. 41, 39, 41, 42 card deck here. No. 3, 4, 5. I can't count. 43 card deck, sorry. And this Malice guy's got all 3 traps. This guy's comboing off like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going. This is absolutely devastating. But you know what's cool is he's losing a lot of life points here, but I believe they do have a card which will get them their life points back in the middle of the combo if they choose to do so. So here we go, getting the Baldrake back. That's kind of cool. So here we go, Firewall Dragon, getting Baldrake back, and we've got a lot. Oh my gosh, we've got every hand trap in the book here. Now we're going back into Heart Scripter here, and gonna send this away. What cards are we not going into at this point? Now we're gonna special summon this card. Here comes Heart Cryptor back again. Here we go. Gonna go into something else at this point. What haven't we gone into? Gonna go into the Terahertz, which is gonna send the Save Worm to the graveyard. And this might look like a very innocent board, like ew, he did all of that, but like he set up his graveyard very, very well. Got a Save Worm in the graveyard. That's a spell and trap negate. As long as this guy's on the field, he's able to banish from his graveyard this white binder, which will special summon itself and be able to banish stuff, which will cause more combos and stuff. He's got a bunch of hand traps plus Baldrake. He's got a lot of stuff going on. So this looks like nothing. Plus, of course, the Maxi in the draw phase. At least that will be stopped by the Ash Blossom, which is crazy, is because I don't know if 2 things might have happened here. This guy was either a mad lad and had the Ash Blossom the whole time and held it because he knows he can't stop that combo and was just saving it for Maxi, which if he did, this guy has the biggest big brain. Duelist B's brain is insanely huge. 100,000 IQ play if he held on to that, knowing that really the Malice player can just play through everything. So that's really good here. Okay, we're going into some kind of thing here, and now he's going to get Ash Blossomed himself. So now, Return of the Jedi. He's going to return the favor, so that's a little fair. So now that guy's kind of stuck there. Oh, but this guy is a Snake Eye player. Gonna go into that here. Snake Eyes down and out, we thought, because what's interesting is Oak is banned right now in Master Duel. So this is a Snake Eye player that is playing without half of his body right now. A big part of the combo is cut off here, but he's still deciding to play it anyways. Here comes Terahertz going to negate something that was going on here, or sending a card to the graveyard, sorry, to get more attack. But that's just going to get pushed to the graveyard. Going to send that out there. Alright. Ooh, this is a great card. This is a Wandering Titan of Tartarus, by the way. If you could send that to the graveyard, very, very strong. when you send it from the deck. Also sending Liberator Ito there, Droll and Lockbird coming out. To stop you from drawing any more cards. But here comes Wandering Titan is going to be able to get rid of that card. Sending Wandering Titan from the deck is even better because that becomes a really good board breaker card. But where are we going here with this? We are now using Liberator Ito to get this come out. Remember, you have to pay half your life points. Here comes Baldrake. Here we go. Here's the devastating stuff I'm talking about. Baldrake's going to banish his own card, White Binder, to come out, which is absolutely devastating. That gets negated, but at what cost? Because, he's going to special summon your own Terahertz, which is kind of cute. That's a really good play there. White Binder now coming back. When White Binder summons herself, not only does she get to draw a card, she's going to be able to banish cards. And oh my gosh, banishing a lot of devastating cards. And this guy is going to use his own effect to send a card. A Cyber's card is going to send IP Masquerade to boost up the attack. So that's a little bit of clever thinking there. But here comes all of the Malice cards are coming back. Ba-da-bum-ba-dum. This is what's crazy. We're going deep into Wonderland here now. Here comes all of this stuff, and oh my gosh, this guy, the attack, the roles have been reversed. This card's supposed to have a lot of attack, but now it's got 0 attack because this card switches stuff, and oh, this is looking pretty bad right now. For our player. Oh, but that removed the lock, and he removed the lock. And I'm just kidding. It's looking really well for our Liberator Ito player, and it's just this guy summoned everything, but it didn't matter. Liberator Ito's got too much attack, and that's 4,000 attack is a lot of damage that just comes out on the board. That's a lot of damage. Absolutely insane. Great duel. Alright, what do we got here? We got some nice little cherry blossoms. Duelist A is going first, and oh, actually on the Ogdotics. I like that. I really like that. Running the Artifact Lancia combo, pretty nice. And also running some kind of priming engine, very interesting. I love this Ogdotic right here. This is pretty cool. But, and you get to combo off. Nice, good. Don't have to worry about, but you're getting double hand trapped here. You got Veilard and Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. So that's a little bit annoying. Sarfew, and you've got to end your turn here. I'm very curious as to what you're going to go into, Mr. Ogdotic. I like what you're into, but now you're going against the Blue Eyes player, it looks like. Blue Eyes player setting up into going to do a Blue Eyes thing. Maybe this was a bit of a mirror match, but I do like what you were kind of doing here. Gonna get Ash Blossom. Everybody's running Lancia this format right now because of the Malice cards. But what happens when your opponent's not on the list? I guess they just end their turn because we've got no more extenders. So going in and get the Black Mamba. Oh, nice. So now we've got a good card here. What are we gonna go into here? We're gonna go into Nightmare Phoenix to destroy. Gonna throw that to the graveyard. We're gonna destroy this card here, but not before he combos it off and gets at least a spell and trap from the deck. All right, so now we're gonna add this little guy here. Cool. But now you kind of are in survival mode, but can you survive this Ogdotic who's going to sacrifice a card, tribute to that card, come back, and now what he's going to do is special summon his guy here, and now he's going to get Daybreak. This is, when Daybreak hits the field, it's off to the races because it's going to make so many tokens. There's so many tokens right now. I feel like we're playing bingo. Like, bingo! Like, look at all these tokens. And that's how you know that you're probably in a bad position. So here comes Bright Elf, and again, we've got a lot of tokens to play with, and oh my gosh, you could bring back the Nightmare Phoenix, even more devastating. And then now, what are these 3 tokens going to go into? We're going to go into the Cosmic Slicer, Zaral. I don't know, he's got an alien name. Getting the Planet Pollution Virus, which is a deadly floodgate, which allows you to tribute an alien monster, destroy all the monsters you control. Oh, and Liberator Ito coming out of nowhere, kind of like John Cena from the top rope. Where did this guy come from? I don't know where he come from. He came from nowhere like Cotton Eye Joe. Where did you come from? Where did you go? But all I know is Liberator Ito came out of nowhere from the graveyard. He's allowed to come from the graveyard. Remember that. As long as your opponent activated something from the hand. If you remember correctly, he activated everything from the hand. He was just like, stuff was just coming out of his hand like he was Gambit from X-Men. But anyways, Liberator Ito is now allowed to come from the graveyard. Maybe I missed when he sent it to the graveyard, but that was absolutely phenomenal. Liberator Ito is actually becoming a very interesting card, catching my attention. Oh, very, very cool. Alright, so we've got some Fiendsmith stuff going on. This is very interesting. Duelist A versus Duelist B. She's got the card here, so I wonder if she is on the Malice cards. And we've got a Fiendsmith Engraver coming out. Fiendsmith Engraver just being the most boring play I've seen since 2025. It's probably the most boring play, and then even more boring is oh my gosh, the Azamina players. If you're playing Azamina right now, I am so sorry, but you are a very boring player. You probably work in a tax office somewhere, doing taxes. You probably do contracts for a living. Actually, fun fact, I went to law school for contracts. I'm making fun of myself with that one. But this guy seems to be one of those players that just likes to kind of play with himself here. But wait, hold on. He's going into Sprint. He actually showing a bit of creativity here, and no, he's sending that. I thought we were going to see some like Sprite play design. No, I should have known better. I thought we were going into a little bit of creativity. But how about this? We're going into Rextramundo. Rextramende. I do like Rextramende because, and no, you got rid of him. The one guy I liked that you got rid of him. Now you're going to Sprite Elf. Who aren't you going into? Alright, you're going to add that back, okay? So you piqued my curiosity with the way you're playing your lines. This guy, whoever he is, being patient, not doing absolutely anything, just watching. Probably got a bite to eat right now. Order some Uber Eats. As this guy is going into, what are you going into now? Okay, you're going into White Forest. Now we're in the White Forest engine. So now if this was a movie, this would probably be Titanic. Like, so now you purchase the ticket, Jack's on the thing, and now finally the Titanic hit the iceberg. Finally we're getting to the meat of the combo. We watched this whole movie. We're waiting to see the ship sink. Anyways, White Forest is still continuing to combo off, and you do also have an Effect Veiler, Maxi, and Ash Blossom in your hand. I really think that if I was a betting man, this guy would win. By the way, we're on, I think 18 cards, 18 card combo here. 19 cards now that just came out. Maybe I'm wrong. But what is crazy is we're going into Bear into Floor. How original. The bear is on the floor, and we've got protection here. The elf is protecting both of these. Some cards here, and oh, yes! Yes! Oh, the ball has been dropped. Oh, wow. Let's go. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm actually rooting for the guy that's the winged dragon of Ross Sphere mode, because I'm a big Sphere mode fan here. So, Duelist B dropping the golden ball on you. But, oh, he's taking now the golden ball and link something with it, going into the moon of the close heavens. So he's going to go back. Again, he's going back into movie mode. Probably going into, again, more Fiendsmith stuff. He's got a lot of Fiendsmith stuff in his graveyard, I believe. So what does he still have left to go in with this engine? He's going to put 2 cards on the back row. I wonder if he has Doom Dragon in his extra deck. Yes, he does. That's going to allow him to, no, not just attack for some damage. He's linking it off again. This guy links things more off than Link from Zelda, right? This guy's more of a Link than that. Oh, get rid of that. That is a what? Fairy Wind. I've never seen this. Destroy as many face-up traps on the field as possible. Special card. Each player takes damage. This is like a stun player of some sort. That is a burn player. Very interesting. And he actually ended his turn. I wonder if he was running out of time, like he was comboing so much. But he goes, oh, what is this? Going into Liberator Ito. Liberator Ito gets to just come out for free. Here's what I'm talking about, baby. This unique stuff. This is what I like to see. And he's still revealing Lord of Heavenly Prison to this guy. Now, back to this guy who has everything and then some in his hand. Going into, what are you going into now? What are we going to do? Back into more Fiendsmith stuff? Of course, right? I had a 50-50 chance. This guy's just either going to go into Fiendsmith or White Forest. And here he goes, comes summoning him back some stuff. Here comes the Fiendsmith Engraver. Now, you know what? I don't know this card a little bit. I just randomly... This guy, by the way, is very unique card. This card can't be, the special summon can't be negated, and this card cannot be used as material, and during your turn only, it's unaffected by stuff. So right now, he's affected by things, and he's gonna get flipped. face down now, and he has 0. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Wait, what is this? A Zoma to Earthbound. Hold on. Freeze frame. We've got a Mega Chad here. Not only is he, this is a colorful card, but I have no idea what this guy does. Special summon this card as an effect monster, some kind of zombie here. With the following effects. It's still a trap. All monsters your opponent controls that attack must attack this card, and if this card is special summoned this way, is destroyed by an opponent's monster attack, inflict damage to your opponent equal to double the original attack of the attacking monster. Interesting. So we are doing some burn stuff here. So let's continue. Sorry about that little stoppage right there. You know what I'm saying? Like when people whip out these weird texts, and I'm the king of weird texts. I love to see that. Ooh, getting hit. For that, and oh, he's got another card here. That's gonna burn him. And now it. Oh, he just won. He just won. You've gotten burned. Oh my gosh, you need some aloe vera for that burn? Sick, absolutely sick, and well-deserved win. Unbelievable comeback. A top 10 duel of the month of this month so far. I can't believe this. Top 10 duel.
It's not gold Leo. Fuck.
No!
I think that's good.
Yes!
Oh yeah, there's time.
We just have to let Don win the mini game, and then he can buy it for 40 coins. Isn't the first one always a fake out? Isn't that what it is?
Ooh.
Drat.
It wasn't a fake out. It wasn't a
not
fake out.
What? I didn't catch? Oh, I soiled all chances at winning. Oh my god, Daisy beat us the fuck out. Wow. Congrats, you can buy your 40 coin star now.
No! No, no, no! I need those freaking things.
Oh, okay.
cool.
Okay. You could now land on Bowser again.
I feel like there's a lot of these. Zemo is back!
I'm back.
Oh my god, it's good to have you on the channel again. How are you, my friend? How are you doing?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. And thank you to all of your kind followers who are wishing me well wishes while I was away. It was very nice of you.
Absolutely. Thank you to you guys. Like, my thank you to you guys as well. We were cheering for you, we're pulling for you, and it's good to know. It's good to know that you're doing well on this health journey that you're on. So, promptly after saying that, I want to say I'm here to destroy your mental health.
I was about to say the same thing. I'm like, great. Can't wait to look at more Magic cards with CGB. I'm sure that's going to be good for my recovery. Great.
Yep. We take care of our physical health with all the money that we can possibly grab here in the U.S. with our marvelous healthcare system, and then we blow up our mental health with card games. Of course.
Precisely.
And this one, you know what? I actually decided to go easy on you. This should be perfectly easy. Yeah, 100% easy for you, because the theme of this video is cards that are free. No, cards that are free.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, no mana cost. You play them for free. That's right. So I'm going to show you a variety of cards that are free, and you're going to tell me whether or not they were played. There are some different formats because I had to look across a number of different formats for these. So hold me accountable. I should tell you what format we're talking about when deciding whether these are good or bad, banned or not banned. And also, because Magic really just likes to do things in cycles, like one for each of the 5 colors, we have several cycles of free cards. And when we have a cycle, I want you to go over and say which ones saw competitive play or which ones see significant play in the format. Maybe rank them. You can give us a little ranksy tier list of the cards. So that's what I've got for you today. Right in your wheelhouse. Free stuff. You love free. Free is a Yu-Gi-Oh player's favorite. So we're going to kick it off with a very simple one, because free cards in Magic, there's a variety of designs. Here's a very straightforward one.
It's funny that you're showing me the free cards, and the video we did for my channel, I actually showed you things that have costs. So it's very funny how we flip-flop for once. Okay. Elvish Spirit Guide.
I drew all my cross-out targets.
This looks like
Amazing.
AI-generated art in the 1990s. 2 and a green. It is a summon spirit. If Elvish Spirit Guide is in your hand, you may remove it from the game to add green to your mana pool. Play this ability as an... I'm assuming that just means it's like an instant speed effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Old wording on cards. Very fun. So we're not actually playing this. We're basically just, and I'm assuming remove it from the game is exile before they made exile a keyword.
Yes,
right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yu-Gi-Oh was the same way. We had remove from play until we had banish. Okay, so I have this in my hand. I exile this card. I get to add a green to my mana pool. I could use this as an instant if I wanted to. Would I want to do that? Maybe. I guess if there's a card that costs green that's also an instant, that I would want to do something to my opponent, sure. But in simple scenario, this is just a way that you're basically exchanging a card for an extra mana, which seems really good. I mean, so okay, you said to ask you about formats.
Yeah.
And that may or may not even matter, depending. So I guess give me some format context here.
Yeah, so this is a pretty old card. So we're talking about very classic standard. Alliance is really in the 90s. So we're talking about ancient 90s standard with our whether or not this got played. And if you want to, you can try to talk about like more legacy or long time formats if it comes to mind that you think that matters. But we're going to focus the answer to the question on whether this got played in old school standard, really old standard.
Yeah, because as you bring that up, the first thing that came to mind is obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an eternal format. So in my mind, as an eternal format and understanding to some rudimentary level how your game works, I feel like in an eternal format, I feel like this card would be really good just because I feel like you're probably playing just all this really busted stuff that's borderline free or easy to cheat out, and this would be like a mechanism by which to do so. But if we're talking about when the game first came out, like within the first few years, is that good? By like standard format. Because I remember you've shown me some of the old cards that you would play, and you're paying 4, 5, 6 mana for some things, and they don't seem that impressive, but obviously that's old Magic, and that still might be crazy enough that it's worth it to use a card to ramp ahead. That's tough, because I feel like I'm learning between you and Raren, because obviously Magic and Hearthstone have similarities. Anytime there is any degree of mana cheating, it's usually
I don't have two
really,
more
really
Charming
good.
Fualoses.
But again, this is old Magic we're talking about. Like, it's pretty slow. Is that worth a card? Like, it's weird because in Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have mana, but something like this would be played in Yu-Gi-Oh if there was an equivalent. And I'm trying to think of what the equivalent of this would be. It would basically have to be some card that's what is the closest to it's got to be some of like crazy hand trap or something.
Yeah? Just
Yeah.
I also don't know what the equivalent would be. In Hearthstone, it's like pretty easy, right? It's the coin.
Right.
Like you have a
Right.
coin.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a card in Yu-Gi-Oh that would say. So I think I actually showed it to you. There's, but it's not giving you a resource. It's not giving you a card. Because I remember showing you in our Tier Element video, there was the Herald of Orange Light that you pitch it and another thing to like destroy and negate something. But that's not giving you a resource. That's just like denying your opponent of the resource. So it'd have to be something that's like pitch this and another thing to like draw 2 cards. I don't know. In any case, I feel like Eternal format, this card is probably crazy. That's the vibe I get. In old Standard, playing this to get some like larger thing potentially at the cost of a card. I feel like the cost of a card in older Magic is a lot higher. Or do you not care because all the cards are so bad that you'd happily trade a card to get an extra mana to get out to your bigger thing quicker?
Depends on the cards in the old format. That's why it's tricky, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And like I said, like what you showed me hasn't impressed me. Maybe it's still good enough though. Maybe it's still good enough. You know what? I'm gonna go with my gut that the mana cheating is just something that has strictly been good throughout the game's history. So I will say it was played.
Elvish Spirit Guide, printed in Alliances, was one of, as you'll see, and I show you more Alliances cards right after this, one of the first like ventures into free stuff. And many of the cards that have free stuff got significant like adoption and play. And oddly, this one did not. This saw no play in old standard, really, at the competitive level. But if you search it today, your gut was really right about this. If you search it today, this is an incredibly popular card in CEDH, Competitive Commander, Dual Commander, which is 1v1 Commander, Legacy, Vintage. Like, you will see this card all over the place. And the big difference is, your analysis was really good. It's the cost of the card, right? Yeah. So back in the day, we just didn't have the win cons, man. We just, you could use this.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, if you use this to ramp out a 5/5 and the opponent plays a spell that just kills the 5/5, you're down cards, right? Another card that came out in Alliances that was considered wow, I can't believe they printed that. This tells you how creatures were back then. Is called Balduvian Horde. It was a 4-mana 5/5, and when it entered, you discarded a card at random. Your face.
That's the quality old Magic card that I would come to expect. But in my mind, if every card
there's
is
a
equally
space
bad,
in it, so that's why it can't get searched.
Bad win con first. In my mind, okay, maybe that is worth it. So I mean,
I see where you're coming from, but the way that the game kind of broke down back then was
too slow.
You had to find that medium between a card that didn't absolutely suck and have a downside that got you blown out and offered enough pressure so that other disruption won you the game. So strategies that made the opponent discard cards were really good, because if they don't have any removal left, then now anything can win the game. Strategies that blew up their lands were good, because if they don't have the lands to cast stuff, they can't answer any threat. Yeah. So Elvish Spirit Guide here just didn't see play or adoption early on, and in hindsight, it's wow, we had access to that card all the way back in Alliances, and now today, basically everybody uses this in decks that are just trying to win the game when they combo off, so that there is no looking back, and it's part of the fast mana package for all those CEDH decks in particular. So you got this one wrong from a standard perspective, your first shot in the dark, but you had a good logic.
Legacy Eternal format perspective, right? So I get a half point in my mind. I'll take it.
Yeah, it was very good logic, I would say. Yeah. So next
Let me ask you this. If people revisited old Magic formats, do you think this card would get played? Because historically in Yu-Gi-Oh, from some of the retro formats people have gone back to really kind of sink their teeth into, cards that were never played in those old formats are actually some of the best cards now, because people just didn't have the same philosophy around deck building or just the fundamentals of the game. So I'd be curious if people went back to, you said it's Alliances, is that the set? If people went back to Alliance format, if this card would actually see play. I'd just weird thought experiment, but I was curious.
I believe if we went back to Alliances and maybe extended it out to Mirage, because that's a block that came shortly after, I think two cards that didn't see as much play back then that would see a lot more play if we redid it again were Brainstorm and Elvish Spirit Guide. They're both long-time legacy staples now, and in the day in Standard, they were kind of eye-rolled. And I think so. Mirage brought around a combo deck, really the first do a million things in a turn, combo off, win the game that Standard had seen. Prosperous Bloom, and I think Spirit Guide would get a look in Prosperous Bloom. I might be crazy, but I would think I'd play Spirit Guide in Prosperous Bloom. And Brainstorm too. Maybe not Prosperous Bloom, but I think there are other combo decks. There are decks that Brainstorm could have fit in. I'm sure of it. So yeah,
I'll be curious to see what the comments think.
Yeah, let me know in the comments. In fact, somebody's going to be down there I played Spirit Guide in Prosperous Bloom. I won 14 local events. I can't believe the rest of the world didn't figure it out. I was so smart. And then the world champions was so dumb. Yeah, stuff like that. So funny. So you know what? I hear you. I believe it. I actually believe it in this case. So
interesting.
This next one is a group of 5 that came out in Alliances. Again, our first experiments with what were called pitch spells at the time. You call them hand traps, we call them pitch spells. And you know one of these because I've showed it to you before. But I want you to try to rank these 5 by their playability in standard format at the time.
Okay. Oh, you're just giving me all of them. Holy crap. Okay. Let's start here. Scars of the Veteran. 4 and a white for an instant. You may remove a white card in your hand from the game instead of paying Scars of the Veteran's casting cost. Prevent up to 7 damage to target creature or player. For each 1 damage to a creature prevented by Scars of the Veteran, put a +0/+1 counter on that creature at end of turn. Interesting. Okay. Next we have, Force of Will. This is the one you showed me, I think. Pay 1 life and remove a blue card in your hand from the game instead of paying Force of Will's casting cost. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter this loss of life. Counter target spell. Yeah, this is literally essentially a hand trap in Yu-Gi-Oh! By nowadays. But you guys printed this way back in the day, evidently.
Yeah, we were all over it.
You were way ahead of your time.
1996.
Yu-Gi-Oh! hadn't even, it hadn't even been invented yet. That's crazy. Contagion, 3 and 2 black, but the cost on these doesn't seem to matter. You may pay 1 life and remove a black card in your hand from the game instead of paying its cost. Effects that prevent a reader, okay, blah, blah, blah. Put 2, -2/-1 counters distributed any way you choose on any number of target creatures. So you either split them across 2 or you put -4/-2 on 1. Interesting. Weird that it's -2/-1, but I'll go back to that. Pyrokinesis, this art's cool. You remove a red card, blah, blah, blah. Deals 4 damage divided any way you choose among any number of target creatures. I feel like that's just better than the other one. And then Bounty of the Hunt. 3 and 2 green. Remove a green card from your hand instead of paying the mana cost. I like how some of them you have to pay a life and some you don't. There's just, I don't know, that inconsistency kind of bothers me. But I get it. The ones that are like blue and black are the ones that you pay. Sure. Put 3 +1/+1 counters distributed any way you choose on any number of target creatures. Remove those counters at end of turn. Oh, they don't even stay? That'd probably be broken if they stay, to be honest. But they stay with the white one, but they're +0/+1, so maybe that's different. Okay. So 4 of these 5 basically do the same thing, but in a different way.
Wow.
And then Force of Will is like the actual unique one here and is the actual good one in my mind.
Why didn't they put counters on something? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Force of Will still has counter in the text, but in a different sense. But this is old magic, and I think...
And I'm going to say specifically, because it was a very easy line to draw, we're going to talk about 1997 standard. I believe in the past I had you rate, we talked about Force of Will based on when it first came out. So this is 1 year after it came out.